Asadi Gaurava. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 1, on Text 6. Tam Kama Yanam Bhagavan Uvaha Yaju Sampatihi Tushtayam Tosham Apano Janayad Dvadashatmajan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord of the ritualistic performance of Yajna later married Dakshina, who was anxious to have the personality of Godhead as her husband. And in this wife, the Lord was also very much pleased to beget 12 children. So yesterday we heard that Swayambhuva Manu's daughter, Akuti, she got married to Ruchi, and then they had a son, Yajna, and daughter, Dakshina. Yajna is the Supreme Lord himself. Dakshina is the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi herself. So they are eternally they are husband and wife. He's God and she is his consort. They're husband and wife eternally. That's the eternal relationship. An ideal husband and wife are generally called Lakshmi Narayan to compare them to the Lord and the goddess of fortune. For it is significant that Lakshmi Narayan are forever happy as husband and wife. The wife should always remain satisfied with her husband, and a husband should always remain satisfied with his wife. In the Chanakya Shloka, the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, it is said that if a husband and wife are always satisfied with one another, then the goddess of fortune actually automatically comes. So, we are always wanting Lakshmi Devi without Narayan. We are praying Diwali time especially, or Goddess Lakshmi, and we forget Narayan. No, Lakshmi Narayan together. Wherever there is Lord Narayan, Lakshmi Ji will automatically come. Why? Because she is his chaste wife. A chaste wife always wants to be with her husband. And Chanakya Pandit, Srila Prabhupada quotes Chanakya Pandit many times in many places. Chanakya Pandit says that if the husband and wife are satisfied with each other, then that couple becomes ideally like Lakshmi Narayan. There's no disagreement between husband and wife. All material opulence is present and good children are born. Generally, according to Vedic civilization, the wife is trained to be satisfied in all conditions, and the husband, according to Vedic instruction, is required to please the wife with sufficient food, ornaments, and clothing. Then, if they are satisfied with their mutual dealings, good children are born. In this way, the entire world can become peaceful. But unfortunately, in this age of Kali, there are no ideal husbands and wives. Therefore, unwanted children are produced, and there is no peace and prosperity in the present-day world. So this is a nice instruction that husband and wife should be satisfied with each other so the home can be a peaceful place, opulent place. Lakshmi Ji is present in such a place, and the husband and wife should be ideal. Should be ideal wife to be satisfied and husband to be able to provide. Of course, modern society, things are very different, as Prabhupada is saying it now. So current modern society, things are different. And if anyone has any comment or any contradictions to speak about this, kindly please to share with us. If no, then we'll proceed to the next verse. Tosha pratosha santosho bhadra shantir itaspatihi idmaha kavir vibhusva naha Sudevo Rochano Dvishat. The 12 boys born of Yagya and Dakshina were named Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, Idaspati, Idma, Kavi, Vibhu, Swahana, Sudeva, and Rochana. So these are the sons of Yagya and Dakshina. Tushita nama te deva asan swayambhuvantare marichi mishra rishayo yagya sura ganeshwaraha. During the time of Swayambhuva Manu, the sons all became the demigods, collectively named the Tushitas. Marichi became the head of the 7 rishis, and Yagya became the king of the demigods, Indra. So Yagya became Indra in this time of Swayambhuva Manu. We have to understand that Indra is a post. Indra does not belong. The name Indra, it refers to a particular post, like saying chief minister. So, we know that every few years, the chief minister keeps changing. Similarly, Indra, the post, the person keeps changing. Like it is said that Bali Maharaj is going to become the next Indra. Bali Maharaj is right now, isn't that? He's right now in the Sutala planet and he's going to become the next Indra. So anyway, the idea is that Indra is a post, not a person. God is not a post. Nobody can become God. Only God is God. God has many names, but only God is God. God has many expansions, but the demigods are not gods. The demigods are different individual living entities. During the life of Swayambhuva Manu, 6 kinds of living entities were generated from the demigods, known as the Tushitas, from the sages headed by Marichi, and from the descendants of Yagya, king of the demigods, and all of them expanded their progeny to observe the order of the Lord to fill the universe with living entities. So all the living entities need to have the different material bodies so that they can start, doing the different karma, doing whatever desires they have. So this is the service that the Prajapatis are doing for the Supreme Lord to populate the universe. These 6 kind of living entities are known as Manus, Devas, Manuputras, Amsha Avataras, Shureshwaras, and Rishis. Yagya, being the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became the leader of the demigods Indra. So here we can see that the Supreme Lord himself is become Indra. He's taking up the post of Indra. Yagya, he is the incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He became the leader of the demigods, Indra. So, reading on. Priya Vratotan Pado Manuputro Mahaujaso Tatputra Pautra Naptrinam Anuvritam Tad Antaram. Swayambhuva Manu's 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanpad, became very powerful kings, and their sons and grandsons spread all over the 3 worlds during that period. So we may say, oh, there are so many names, what's happening? Well, Bhagavatam is speaking all the names that are mentioned. These are great personalities. That's the reason they are here mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Swayambhuva Manu is a devotee of the Lord, and his son Priyavrata, we'll hear about his glories also. And of course, Maharaj Uttanpad, his son is Dhruva Maharaj, who's a pure devotee of the Lord. Devahutim Adattat Kardam Mayatmajam Manuhu Tat Sambandhi Shruta Prayam Bhavata Gadato Mama. My dear son, Swayambhuva Manu handed over his very dear daughter Devahuti to Kardama Muni. I have already spoken to you about them, and you have heard about them almost in full. So this is Maitreya Muni telling to Vipi. Dakshaya Brahmaputraya Prasutim Bhagavan Manuho Prayachat Yakrita Sargas Trilokyam Vitato Maha. Swayambhuva Manu handed over his daughter Prasuti to the son of Brahma named Daksh, who was also one of the progenitors of the living entities. The descendants of Daksh are spread throughout the three worlds. So Prasuti, one of the daughters of Swayambhuva Manu, got married to Daksha. Daksha is the son of Brahma. And Daksha is a Prajapati. He was empowered also to have many, many children so that he can populate the universe. They are spread throughout the three worlds.
Daksh is the son-in-law, right, of Shiva. Correct?
Daksh. Shiva is the son-in-law of Daksh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, Shiva is
Yes.
the son. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We are going to hear that. We are going to hear about the pastime of the yajna that Daksh performs and Lord Shiva in this canto. It's there mentioned in fourth canto. So, yeah. Ya Kardama Sutta Prokta Nava Brahmarshi Patnayaha Tasam Prasuti Prasavam Prochayamanam Nibodhame. You have already been informed about the 9 daughters of Kardama Muni who were handed over to 9 different sages. I shall now describe the descendants of those 9 daughters. Please hear from me. The third canto has already described how Kardama Muni begot 9 daughters in Devahuti and how all the daughters were later handed over to the great sages like Marichi, Atri, and Vashishta. So the 9 daughters of Kardama Muni, they were married to the 9 great rishis who were also the Prajapatis. Some of the rishis are also Prajapatis. Patni Marichestu Kala Sushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat. Kardama Muni's daughter Kala, who was married to Marichi, gave birth to 2 children whose names were Kashyap and Purnima. Their descendants are spread all over the world. Purnima Sudha Virajam Vishwagam Cha Parantapa Deva Kulyam Harepad Shauchad Yabhut Sarit Devaha. My dear Vidur, of the 2 sons, Kashyap and Purnima, Purnima begot 3 children, namely Viraja, Vishwaga, and Devakulya. Of these 3, Devakulya was the water which washed the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead and which later on transformed into the Ganges of the heavenly planets. So Ganga, she flows not only in this earth planet, she flows in the higher planets and she flows also in the lower planets. And she's named differently. Here she's called Ganga Bhagirathi because of King Bhagirath. But in the higher planets, she's called Mandakini. And in the lower planets, I can't remember. But she flows. So, and we may say, oh, what all these names are there? What has it got to do with me? This is for us to understand how the creation is happening, how the universes were created by Mahavishnu. Then Garbhodakshay Vishnu entered. Lord Brahma was created. Then Lord Brahma created this Manu Swayambhuva, Manu and Shatarupa, and he created other suns also. And how this population, how's the universe going to be populated? Because we sometimes we wonder what happened, how is this creation happening, what's happening. So here is the complete history of the two sons Kashyap and Purnima. Herein, Purnima's descendants are described. An elaborate description of these descendants will be given in the 6th canto. It is also understood herein that Devakulya is the presiding deity of the river Ganges, which comes down from the heavenly planets to this planet and is accepted to be sanctified because it touched the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Today is also Vaman Dwadashi. Today is the appearance day of Lord Vaman Dev. And it was Krishna in his form as Lord Vaman Dev that his toe pierced the covering, which brought the Ganges down into this world, into this universe. So it is such a nice coincidence that we are reading about this. And it is Vaman Dwadashi, Lord Vaman Dev. He appeared at the request of the demigods because Bali Maharaj had taken over their kingdom. And we can see the total surrender of Bali Maharaj. That when Vaman Dev asked him, where can I keep the third foot? He says, you put it on my head. And because of his total surrender, Vaman Dev has become the doorkeeper in the planet Sutal. That's where Bali Maharaj is living. He's still living. He's there in the Sutala planet, and Vaman Dev is there as his doorkeeper. So we can see that the Lord reciprocates. It's not that it's only a one-sided relationship. No, the Lord is the most loving, and he reciprocates with his devotees. Today is also the appearance day of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the great acharyas, and we can pray to him for his mercy to help us in our journey back home, back to Godhead, to give us Krishna prema. Atre patne anasuya tren jajne suyasha saha sutan datam durva shasam somam atmesha brahma sambhavan. Another reason why we need to understand the creation properly is because we might say, well, I'm the soul. I just need to get out of this material world. Why shall I bother so much with this material world? But if we do not understand the relationship of the material world with the Supreme Lord, we will not be able to get out of this material world because we've not understood what is this material energy, what is my position here in this material world and in the spiritual world. Who am I really? Who is God? What is his relationship with the material energy? What is my relationship with God? And how can I be situated in that relationship? So Bhagavatam tells us all that. Reading one, Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to 3 very famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa, who were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma. Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was a partial representation of Lord Shiva. In this verse, we find the words Atma Isha Brahma Sambhavan. Atma means the super soul of Vishnu. Isha means Lord Shiva, and Brahma means the four-headed Lord Brahma. So Atma here is referring to the Paramatma, super soul, Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu. We are not the Paramatma. We are the Atma, Jivatma. There is a difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Paramatma is Krishna. He is in everyone's heart. We, the Jivatma, we are not in everyone's heart. We are just here in one place. So we have to understand that difference. There's a difference between God and me. The 3 sons born of Anasuya, Dattatreya, Durvas, and Soma were born as partial representations of these three demigods. Atma is not in the category of demigods or living entities because he is Vishnu. Therefore, he is described as Vibhinamsha Bhutanam. So, Lord Vishnu, he is not an ordinary living entity. He's God himself. He's not a demigod. We cannot say Lord Vishnu is same as Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. No. Lord Vishnu is God himself. He's an expansion of the Supreme Lord. And a Lord Brahma is a living entity. It's a post. Lord Brahma is a post. If we want, if we can qualify ourselves, we can also become Lord Brahma, like the president of a country. It's anyone who's qualified can be put in that position. And Lord Shiva, he is a category by himself. He's neither a living entity nor is he Vishnu Tattva. He's Shiva Tattva. How does he come? He comes from Lord Vishnu himself. Lord Vishnu expands as Shiva, but Lord Shiva can never become Vishnu. The example is given in Bhagavatam that as from milk we can make yogurt. But that yogurt, once it's made, it cannot become milk again. There's a difference. So that's the difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. The Supersoul Vishnu is the seed-giving father of all living entities, including Brahma and Lord Shiva. So why do we exist? Why does the Jivatma exist? Why does the soul exist? The soul exists. Why? Because Krishna exists. Because God exists. Every soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are part and parcel of Krishna, each and every living entity. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the seed-giving father. It's Krishna who puts us in this material world. We are not products of the material energy. We are spirit souls. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the one who's putting us here. So Krishna is also the father of Brahma and Shiva. So one may say, who is Krishna's father? No. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. He's the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. We get bewildered. Oh, how come everyone has a father? Why does Krishna not have a father? Why? Just because he's God. He's the original personality of Godhead. That's why. Another meaning of the word Atma may be accepted in this way. Principle, who is the super soul in every Atma, or one may say the soul of everyone, became manifested as Dattatreya because the word Amsha, part and parcel, is used here. So, Amsha, what is that? Bhagavatam says, Etecha Amsha Kala Pumsa Krishna Stu Bhagwan Swayam. There are so many expansions and expansions of expansions. But Krishna's Tu Bhagavan Swayam. The original personality of Godhead is Krishna. So Dattatreya, he's an expansion of an expansion. He's an expansion of the Supreme Lord. He's an expansion of the Paramatma. So he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, the individual souls, this is a little long. Do you want me to stop here or continue?
I think we can stop
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
So did anyone have any questions or comments?
too many names to
I
remember.
was just going to say that. We heard a lot of names today.
Yeah, like see now I've forgotten what Dattatreya is the expansion of
Of
he's
Lord
Lord
Vishnu.
Shiva.
Vishnu.
Vishnu. Then Soma.
Yeah. Soma is Lord Brahma, and Durvasa is Lord Shiva.
Okay.
So we can remember that Durvasa Muni gets angry, right?
It's, yeah, well, yeah, right.
He gets angry. So Lord Shiva, ignorant. Soma is incarnation of Brahmaji, and Dattatreya of the Supreme Lord himself.
Oh,
That's how we can remember. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.